Hello everybody, it's Dr. Zaino with 15-Minute Fuel. We're just in 15 minutes a day, we're going to fuel your mind, your body, and your future. When I'm waiting for everybody to get on, also, welcome to the podcast. You guys are listening to this on SoundCloud or Stitcher, I believe, or iTunes or iHeart. Welcome to the podcast. Just any questions you have, please let us know. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube or anywhere else, just submit your questions. I'll answer every single time. We always love the content, and any question you ask, I will always answer the best way possible. We have a good one today. On Saturdays, I always do more of a lifestyle stuff, just kind of, it's not really such a mindset topic, but it's actual practical things you could do that I feel will be valuable to you. And today, I'm going to do it on how I personally create a keynote. And because I want you to kind of see what goes through the whole entire process of that. When you see someone speak on stage, or if you see me speak on stage and you're like, wow, that was great, I really want you to understand that 20 minutes or 40 minutes, or even if I do a dinner talk or a doctor's report, I want you to really know everything that goes behind that. And for some people, I would say they're more natural at it, and maybe they don't need as much work. But to me, my dad always taught me it's the end result that counts. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, the market doesn't care. People don't care. At the end of the day, it's the result that counts. So if I had to work 100 times harder to get the same result as someone who had to work 5 minutes to get the same result, then it's the end result that counts. I got to take responsibility for that end result. So one of the things I do when I start to write a keynote, and I believe a lot of this stuff will help you guys, memory management is horrible. So when you have good ideas, you want to write them down first, of course, or keep track of them. But it goes beyond that. Preparation. Remember we talked about, see all the books in the back. I'm always taking book reports, the stuff I'm listening to, anything that inspires me or really opens up my mind. I write that down. I take notes. So every time I'm reading or listen to audios, I'm taking notes on my phone. The phone, you're watching the phone, I can't show you that, but I'll type in notes or dictate notes on the phone. So I'm always creating notes, and I save them in my notes section, but you see, I save them for later, meaning that I don't take notes for a certain thing. I just know I'll use them later on. You follow what I'm saying? So if I read something and I love it, I like it, I'll take notes or what inspired me or a thought I got from it. Anytime when I'm adjusting or during the day, if I get a great idea, I always capture it, I write it down, and I put in my notes for later. And I don't know in the time when I'll use it, but I know it'll be used later on. And sure enough, over the years, all those little notes I took, I looked over and I made 300 videos recently when I started doing these 5-minute fuels that you'll learn about later on. And I did 300, so you see it adds up over time. So I write down these little notes or inspirations, and so I write that down. So that could take months. If I know I'm going to have a talk in August, I know I have one. So right now I'm writing down thoughts about it now. I start now, so I start taking thoughts, because a lot of times if you cram to make a talk, you run out of time. You don't want to force yourself. You want to be inspired, because when you're inspired, that's why you feel it always comes from my heart, because it's inspired. And it comes through my heart. It doesn't just sound good, right? Because I wanted something to sound right. It has to be inspired. So I write down I put them in little buckets, so to speak. So I put all this stuff in buckets, I save them. And then now I know I have a talk in August, or I have a talk next Wednesday. But the one in August, I start writing down notes now for it, and I let it marinate. And what that means is I dwell on it. So if I'm going to do a 2.5 hour keynote on the hero concept, on the I am hero. So I'm writing down these cool things and I'm envisioning it, right? I'm seeing it. I kind of do a private rant. Sometimes I think on my mind and I start privately ranting myself in a good way and write those notes down, things that are coming to me. And the reason why I take these notes is because later on, when I start to develop the talk, I have a lot of stuff to work with. So when I started doing this I am hero, I didn't know I would have a keynote next week. I got a little nervous on that one. But the first thing I did, I knew I was going to build a talk, and I met with Roberto. And first I meet with Roberto, so he's just a coach, and we could look at things. And he makes me a better me, meaning that he doesn't tell me what to say. He uses what I says, and we kind of rearrange it or clarify it. So I had from all the readings and all this hero stuff, I looked back at my notes in my phone, and I saw a lot of these things when I realized it was about this hero that was inside of us. I looked back at my notes, and a lot of that pertained to it. I just wasn't able to put a nail it on the head. So that's why I had all this original content that I was able to fit into it. So I just emailed myself all the notes from my phone, and I put into a huge document. So the document, this is what the document looks like. The phone around. So, you know, here's the hero thing. And then, you know, I even put my feelings. See right there, look, if you look, it says, I just got to a point where I had to jump in versus stay the same. Then when I was reading a book, I realized my deeper why, that my entire life was reflecting to me, in front of me always, belief systems just blinded me from seeing the truth. So when I saw the truth, the toughest part was embracing it and being absolutely unashamed and proud of it. I wish every human being the chance to find it, see it, embrace it. So what you're reading right there, you're reading that like, that was just my thoughts in the time when I really found this hero thing. So I write all this stuff down because that was me. I caught something, what you're reading right there, I caught something in the moment of inspiration. I mean, what you guys are looking at, you're looking at the moment it happened. Like, so what happened? I just got to the point where I had to jump in. I realized, and then I felt the burden, that last line, I wish every human being the chance to find it, see it, embrace it. So you're looking at the start of it. It was documented. So I write down all my thoughts, and when I put my notes on paper, you know, my core values, my core premise. Everybody is born with seeds of greatness and capable of doing heroic things. A hero is defined as a person who is admired, idealized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. The majority of people have had this silently hidden, beaten down, drugged, and imprisoned in them. So I write my of the top, my core premise, my purpose, you know, my clear goal. You know, my clear goal, my new mission and identity in life, because see, my identity was, I was a hero, but I was secretly disguised as a chiropractor. And I found this, and I found that I was really the hero disguised as a chiropractor, but I found my identity only in chiropractic and becoming the doctor. And because I was the doctor and my identity was in chiropractic, and how my practice went dictated how I felt as a human being, or what my patients said about me, right? So what started to happen, two things. I was in hero mode in chiropractic. That's why most of you guys are following me. You look up to me in chiropractic, so I had your admiration. But then I had my admiration of my patients. But it was tough taking the admiration. I didn't accept it, so I would have this false humility. But then when I knew I was capable of more, and then I try to look outside the profession to doing bigger things or using my potential more, I felt the guilt of leaving the office and a patient saying, I want to get adjusted by Dr. Zaino. Where's Dr. Zaino? So I felt the guilt of leaving my patients, and I felt the guilt of what my peers would say, what you guys would say. So this guilt that I put on me, or this false humility on top of it, it sucked, I don't want to say sucked me back, it kept me in my lane. So it shrunk me, my potential down into living the secret identity. Even though my secret identity was great, but despite my achievements, I was still feeling that burden. I was feeling tormented. And when you realize you're living at half your potential and living a half life, the other half of your potential will torment you the rest of your life on what you could have been. And so kind of that was the crossroads I was at. So I wasn't being ungrateful. I was just grieving my potential, but I had to get rid of this guilt to be able to move forward. So let me show you the rest of the document. All your notes on the document. So I got the document. There's my clear goal for every customer. My quote. You know, that's a big quote, that Marion Williamson quote. But I made it kind of designed for the hero. And then I started putting all these thought flashes on what secret identity is. You know, numb. You know, remember Dr. Mick, we did a Facebook Live, and he says numb. The B is silent, just like the secret identity likes it. Right? So, you know, so from you guys and doing Facebook Lives, you gave me some wisdom, like, right, your secret identity doesn't serve the world. You guys gave me wisdom. And so through the journey, I take and I copy all your comments that mean a lot. You know, I talk about the hero, the villain, the secret identity. So I started Hero Questions Limits. You know, I started from our journey together. I write everything down, and then I cleaned it up. You see, I got it cleaned up. And it goes and goes and goes. And I write it all. See, here's the definition of pride. Like pride, I found the definition of pride. I found the definition of passion, the definition of ego. And so we started into that pride-ego thing. And I mean, on and on, all the way down, guys. Look, on and on and on and on and on. And then I actually write at the end of it, I write the goals for Zaino Future. And, you know, so you look at, and this is very personal. I'm sharing something very personal for you guys. You know, I mean, I don't mind showing you this is my personal goals. Speak the hero message to the world, travel to speak keynotes, social media presence, video is my media, write a few books, different tiered programs, build a 10 million plus following on social media, other streams of revenue, products, all those things you put down, online video programs, seminars, be able to work from any place in the world, be able to move anywhere in the world. So these are the things. So you see, it's a lot more than you think. So I got the meat, all right? So I know I got the meat. I made sure it's really original. And then I call Roberto. So now I say, Roberto, I got it. But now, Roberto, how do we take these thoughts and how do we bring them into a keynote that I could speak and deliver it in a way that has some type of science behind it, some type of storytelling. And it has to be kind of set up in a way where I'm not just ripping stuff. It has to get an end goal. I need to get the person engaged. And Roberto goes, go through the rhythm of emotions. So the first, we started working on a 45-minute keynote, but then Garrett Gunderson says, listen, man, in 2 weeks, I need you to do a 19-minute one. So I'm like, holy cow. Because the 19-minute one is usually the one you do at the end, because the 19-minute talk is the toughest talk. Because you see, I just showed you 10 pages of awesome, like this is 10 pages whittled down from 18, and this is the best stuff I got. So how do I get 10 pages down to 20 minutes? So a lot of this felt like I was cutting my limbs off. So I cut it down, cut it. We got to 24 minutes, so we cut it down to where it is now. We're pretty good. I'm coming in for a landing. We worked it around, we talked, we went back and forth, and we developed this 19-minute talk. And then there'll be a 45-minute talk, and then there'll be an hour and a half, 2-hour talk. So this is how this is how we're doing it. So we got to develop it. So we made the 19-minute talk. I'll show you that one. So it's here. Now we went back and forth. So this is just version 6 or 7 right here. So, and each one I practice or do live about 5 or 10 times. So since I started it, I've done probably I practice it maybe 20 or to 30, probably 25 times. And now I'm going to actually, between now and Tuesday, like Roberto said, he usually practices his keynotes like 34, and he's a much more seasoned influencer than I am. So I'll do another 25 times. So I think about 50 times to get. See, there's all the stats, and you guys been doing it with me. I've been sharing this with you guys. So I got this keynote. So I got 5 pages. There's my close right there. There's the close. The close is the toughest. So I got 5 pages that I had to develop to get it in 20 minutes, right? So now we practice it. And the tough part about the 19 minutes, I can't elaborate. So I just talk to you, I could talk to you about one thing and for 15 minutes, so I can't elaborate. I got to be right on the money and get it done to respect the time. This is like a group of people that, 19 minutes means 19 minutes. So it's just practice now. So drilling it, because I don't want to be thinking about the words. Because when you speak and you think about the words, it takes your heart out of it. So I want to be able to have it where I could speak it and it's coming from me and in me, and then I know I can make an impact and deliver it the way you should. And so you see, so basically, when you see me next week do the talk and you're looking at 19 minutes, it may be inspirational to you, which I know it will, and you'll enjoy it and you'll like it, but understand, preparation plus opportunity equals what people call luck. So it was months and months of preparation, months and months of collecting notes and book reports that you do every day, not knowing when you'll need it. But let me tell you, the reason why you want to read every day and listen to audios and jot things down is because when you do find it, and then you look back and see that all that work, all that preparation you've been doing, not knowing when you'll need it, was actually done for a reason. Meaning that all that prep work I've been doing for the last 6 months to a year really was me. It was like God knew this was going to happen in my life, but I didn't realize it yet. But everything I was writing down was in this. So that's why don't miss a prep. Don't miss jotting down your inspirations from a song, from a book, from a TV, from a movie, because you'll never know when you need it. And and I realized that it was, even though I didn't realize it was happening because I wasn't aware of it yet, but the whole year and a half of the notes that I used was able to fit into this hero project that we're doing now. So that's why just do your routine on a daily basis, even though you don't know when you'll really need it. Don't worry about what you'll need in the future. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. When my son Titus was born, he was 3 weeks late. But he wasn't late. He came right on time the way God wanted it. But even though the midwife was very natural and holistic, she was still very medicalized. And near the end, when he was 2 weeks, 3 weeks late, they start getting fearful and scared. And when Titus was being born, there was a lot of fear that it could have came into my wife, Whitney, and us. You know, this kid's 3 weeks overdue, and then the midwife is scaring the hell out of you. But it was probably then the 5 years of reading philosophy, the 5 years of reading health textbooks and wisdom and guidance that Whitney and I were doing. I realized back then all that studying, all that listening to audio developed my certainty to a point where I could handle it, and I was more certain than the midwife about my child. And Titus came out in 2 hours and he was perfect. So I realized in the moment that I told Whitney, holy cow, I studied hard for 7 years and did my morning routine for 5 or 7 years and wrote down notes and read green books and did all these things because I needed to do all that to develop my philosophy and certainty in health and God's creation for the most important moment was my son's birth. Because we would have been fear-mongered into go to the hospital. You know, even when he was born, they're like, he needs oxygen or he needs to pee. And I'm like, get out of here. They were so weak. So my certainty, but you know what? If I didn't do that, if my wife and I didn't build our philosophy and certainty in how health and how God created us to be, if I missed a couple weeks, it might have not developed my certainty where maybe I would have broke. Or maybe my son would have been brought to the hospital or some ridiculous thing like that. But no, so that's why when you do your prep, whether it be for a keynote, you do your thing, you write your notes down, you write down your inspirations because you never know we're going to need it. But I promise you, not only will you need it in the future, but it's going to be exactly what you needed in the future for developing something like this hero keynote or anything like that. So, I mean, I really hope you guys appreciate that. But this is how it works. So, you know, 20 minutes on stage is literally, it might seem like a year and a half in the making, but what we're talking about today was my entire life in the making. So that's just what it takes to go, and I'll practice it maybe probably 50 times, but I'm done with it. So it's not here. I'm in it. I am the talk. Just so when I'm on stage, the nerves, all that stuff, you get nervous, and you don't want that. You want to just be able to look at the people and connect with them and look in their eyes and connect versus thinking, what's the next word? And that's how you do it. So I encourage you guys, you know, that's why everything we do, you know, you do your morning routine, you read your books, you take your notes, anything that inspires you, you write it down. I saw the Power Ranger movie the other day, and you know, I was weeping in the Power Ranger movie because everything I do now, I see it through this hero project because I want this to be able to be applicable to everybody. And in the Power Ranger movies, they have to morph, meaning that like their suit was already inside them, right? Follow me, like their little costume. When you're a Power Ranger, it's in you, it's like in you, it's organically in you, and they're trying to morph, and they weren't morphing because even though the suit or the Power Ranger suit was in them, they didn't believe in themselves or believe themselves as a team. They didn't have enough of that pride or ego to believe in themselves to embrace the I am. And of course, at the end, they embrace that, you know, we are important, we are meant for this, and then they morphed. So, you know, that's when I start weeping in the movie because I'm sitting there going, secret identity, you know, not enough pride, ego, you know, too much this, too much. They believed, and all these kids were detention kids, right? They were kicked out of school. They were bad kids. One kid was autistic, and you know he was actually the smart guy. You know, they put him in the movie, so you realize it was the people that were unwanted in the educational system, and they became the Power Rangers. And you know, you really, because that's the thing. So when I talk about marinating, when you have a keynote, it's always on my mind, right? So I'm thinking about the hero keynote, and I'm watching the Power Ranger movie and I'm getting inspiration from that. So I know you're not supposed to have your phone, but I'm taking my phone out, writing these keynotes or these ideas and inspirations from a Power Ranger movie. So basically, everything you see in the lens is of that talk you're going to do, and you become obsessed with it, and you put on the glasses, so to speak, where everything looks in the eyes of, these are like hero glasses, and you actually see everything. So I could go to church and find hero stuff. I could listen to a song and find like that Coldplay song, right, with Batman and heroes. But I mean, like, it almost seems like everything in my life, when I'm focusing on heroes, just like if you get a yellow Acura, everybody has a yellow Acura. Well, when you think hero, all of a sudden everything around you is hero. It's amazing. Like, check this out. See this C-Force? It's coming out soon. Chuck Norris, he was trying to build like a reservoir or a well, like for his, he lives on a ranch around here. And of course, it's Chuck Norris. He probably punched the ground, but they didn't find a well. They found a reservoir of water from the Ice Age. And so he has his own water called C-Force. It's Chuck Norris water. let the jokes begin on that one. So I'm like, wow, like Chuck Norris is a living hero, and going on. So everything is inspiring me towards that keynote that I can talk about because I'm living it. So, I mean, that's the way I do it, because that's what it takes to get me to the level to deliver it at a level that you guys respond to. And I think it's the level that I feel I want to be able to bring. So I know it takes a lot of work, but like my dad said, it's the end result that counts. Always is. It always will be. All right, so if you have any questions, I'm here. I'm not analyzed. I'm not just limited to 15-minute stays. Saturdays are, fun days. All right, let's see. Almost always comment as well. You guys got to give me some content. I think we did over 50 of these, and it's like I was out of juice at 12. I was so worried. I'm like, how am I going to find out content? But you guys. So give me some content. My mom's on. Hey, Rach. Thanks for sharing. Also, episode 15. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Hey, Dean, capturing writing. Let me see. Dean says capturing writing increases retention. Always. You know why, Dean? Because you don't have to memorize it. Pete. Good to see you, Pete. Hey. All right. Let me see. Hey, Gabe. Hey, by the way, Gabe, great. I saw your episode 1. Great job, buddy. Great job. I am Impact. My mom said no luck, hard work and preparation. Always. Yeah, there's no luck. Holy cow. Like the other day, like today, I was like, maybe I got some suits that I'll never wear again, ever. I'm not, because that's not me. I'm 40, and I'm like, I never wear suits. I'm not going to do it. And so I have these suits, and I was hearing about flipping things on eBay. I'm like, maybe I'll get my kids to flip things on eBay. So I looked online at what it takes to flip things on eBay, and it's a freaking lot of work, right? So everything, there's no luck. There's always work. And let's see. My mom's there. Gabe. Hey, Anna. Gabe says, do you vacation? Completely shut yourself off. Gabe, I can't shut myself off, man. Because you know why? I'm living my hero. I am, you know what I mean? Like I'm living me. You know what was shutting myself off? I was on vacation for 5 years, 24/7, because I wasn't living the true me. See, I think living your secret identity is vacation. But when you step into your hero, vacation is what? To rest, to reflect, to recharge. Yeah. I mean, this is recharging to me. Why would I do this on a Saturday? Unless what, Gabe? Unless doing this recharges me, you see? So this recharges me. I have more energy than ever. Hey, Cody. Hey, Rob Newen Schreiner, congratulations. All you chiropractors that graduated today, congrats. You got through it. So now you got a piece of paper. That's all it means. It's a piece of paper. Now you earn the privilege to start working your butt off and learning how to practice. That's about all you get from it. So now you get to work hard and learn the right way to do it. Well, thank you guys so much for watching my 15-minute fuel on how I develop a keynote. And just to let you know, I did hire Roberto. Roberto doesn't do it for free. And we have a very good relationship. We're great friends. But the thing is, I pay him for his services and experience. So again, that's also part of it too. If I do a 20-minute keynote and someone says you were the best of the night, what I told you today, this is all that's really going on that maybe the other speakers didn't do. And also, I spent a lot of money for coaching to get it just right. So again, it's that end result that counts. So what you see, when you see a keynote speaker, if you see a pastor, or if you see anybody like, man, that was awesome, I guarantee they spent thousands of dollars and thousands of hours perfecting their skill. But the genius is if they can make it look like it just came off, like if they can make it like they just walked on stage and it looked like it was just a conversation, they have mastered it. That's a true master right there. Well, we thank you guys so much. Please comment below episode 15. Catch up this weekend. 13, 14, 15. Great stuff. And episode 16 is Monday. Like everything, share it. We're on SoundCloud and Shudder or whatever that is, iTunes. It's all Dr. Zaino. Share with friends and family, guys. We kind of been stagnant at a certain level, it's just fine. But let's really get the reach out. So thank you guys so much for everything, and we'll see you tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, Sunday. I'll see you soon. God bless.